Alright, quick update on Solana. So we're going to start this video talking about the Sol USD pair, and then we're going to wrap up the video by looking at how Solana has been performing against Bitcoin since our last video. Let's jump right in. What you're going to notice is on the 4-hourly time frame, we were converging within this bear flag, and I think it's defined. It looks a lot nicer on the daily time frame. We had a little bit of a flush below it on the 4-hourly. Nonetheless, what you can actually see is we capitulated below the bear flag. We broke back up temporarily into it, or more or less, I would call this a confirmation that we're bearish. Because I mean, if you draw it like this on the 4-hourly time frame, I actually think this fits a lot nicer than how we previously had it. I'm going to stick with how it is at this moment in time. But what you can see is we actually perfectly came back tested it. We also back tested the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, and now we are capitulating. So this green candle that we're seeing right now, there's only so much I can say about it. It's been open for the past 25 minutes, and it is probably going to move by the time I get the time to upload this video. But what I want to talk about is what happened in the 4-hourly candle before that, because we had a pretty nasty capitulation down from basically, $54 all the way down to $50. So pretty brutal drop, about 4% in just 4 hours. Obviously, Solana's an altcoin, but it is one of the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, top 5. It's been a while since I've checked on the top 25 altcoins, but I'm pretty sure Solana is in the top 5. If not, it's 100% in the top 10. So, lots of bearish volume has been coming in. Volume has been pretty stagnant over the past, where has it been? So since the 12th of May, volume really bottomed out, and we haven't seen too much exponential volume in either direction. You can really see we've kind of been tapering down, losing momentum, and this could just be another speed bump before we do roll back down. But at least at this moment in time, volume is increasing. We do have bearish volume in the past 8 hours or so. 32 million Solana sold on this 4-hourly candle, 27 million sold on this 4-hourly candle. Coming into this 4-hourly candle, we have about 3 million Solana traded, and looking at your momentum indicators, we're already losing momentum since this last retest. So I normally call these bunny hills. What you notice is a lot of the time when you see these trends where you're running out of momentum, a lot of the time they are simply retests of EMA ribbons, or they're simply retests of the top of resistances. But the last couple of times we've been lacking momentum in terms of the bulls, well, I don't need to tell you what happened since the last time we lacked momentum. We were obviously all the way up here at 59. Now, when we're running out of bullish momentum, we ran out of momentum at 54. So, you're probably noticing a trend, not just within the past week or so, but Solana has been capitulating for quite some period of time now. The number one takeaway from the 4-hourly time frame is the fact that we've just been rejected from the 4-hourly EMA ribbons once again. And I almost feel like these EMA ribbons, they just do not do too much justice when we are in these huge capitulation type events. We do have a lot of support coming in down at basically 47.66, let's just call it $48. This also almost perfectly lines up with your 0.5 Fibonacci. So I'd say if we have a big capitulation below $47.51, then that would pretty much be the nail in the coffin. And you can also see here, nothing crazy compared to the last couple of weeks, but on the 4-hourly it was actually very flat, but we just had these exponential wicks on the 12th. And over on the 12th, it was actually quite flat compared to what we're seeing here. So daily volume is still quite exponential. Lower time frames, it's more being spread between the entire day rather than people just buying the dip or buying retests is what I'm noticing. But on the daily, about 111 million traded, and it is predominantly selling volume coming in at this moment in time. So doesn't look good. Like I said, there's only so much you can say about these fibs while you're massively capitulating. I think it's much more important to talk about this massive bear flag that we're currently in. Now, number one, This price target is not going to get hit. The price target is all the way down at -$1, and unless this is going to do something like US oil, it's not going to go into the negatives. US oil, I say that because I believe there was a contract for US oil and they backed out of the contract, so they didn't have anywhere to store the oil, and they put the oil temporarily went into negative prices because they basically needed someone to take it off their hand. This is a non-fungible or I say non-fungible, I'm not talking about NFTs, let me say non-tangible, because that would go with what this is, but it's not tangible. It's never going to go to minus price targets. No one needs to hold it for you. It's not going to cost you anything to keep it in a Phantom or a Solana. What's the other one called? Soul Stake? Something like that. Soulflare, Phantom Wallet. It's never going to go into minus price targets is what I'm trying to say. But nonetheless, a huge breakdown of this bear flag is not what you want to see. You can also see we are emming out. Doesn't look like well, it is a perfect M pattern. Not necessarily in terms of a looker, but it is definitely a very valid M pattern. What you'll see is coming down to the neckline of this M pattern, it'd actually be around about that $48 region again, which once again we said was your 0.5 Fibonacci, and it was previous support at these highs down here. We really don't have a ton of support built for Solana down at these regions, and I think it's very, very unfortunate because we literally had a perfect triple bottom over on Solana. We came all the way up. I believe at this point we got rejected from the 0.5 Fibonacci. We moved down, we got rejected from the 618. First of all, that 618 rejection, that is a textbook sign that you are about to enter a massively bearish trend. And after then, all we've done is massively capitulate. So I think it's pretty black and white. I think unfortunately Solana is going down to lower price targets. I always do say this, I am a big fan of the Solana network. I do like it. My profile pic on YouTube is a Solana NFT, the Bounty Hunter Space Guild. If you click on my YouTube profile and you look at my banner, if you look in the top, the bottom left corner, you'll see another 2 Solana NFTs, the DGen Trash Pandas. I do like Solana. I'm a big fan of the space, but looking at things objectively, we look absolutely garbage right now. So have to call it how it is. I'm not a fan of sugarcoating. I'm not a fan of beating around the bush. The chart looks terrible. We've literally just been rejected from your 618. We've been rejected from the bear flag, and it's not just Solana. Like Bitcoin's just broken down from a huge asymmetrical triangle. I always say this, but a failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. What does that mean? Bitcoin was building, consolidating this asymmetrical triangle. Price target all the way up here at 34,300. We had a fake out, and now we've massively capitulated. So, like I said, failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. Look at this candle. Tell me that's not a fast move all the way back down to the bottom. It is definitely a huge fast move. So I hate to say it, but I think Solana is going to much lower price targets, and I've actually been calling this for quite some period of time now. I think when we started talking about it, the $72, that was literally my last straw. Once we capitulated below $72, that was it for me. I did make a video a couple of weeks ago saying I did sell most of my Solana staking bags, and thank God I did, because I can almost buy it back for... I suck at maths. It must be like 30% or something, since round about these regions. I can't remember exactly the price. I'll need to check on my Phantom wallet from when I sent them out. But nonetheless, it's not necessarily backed up, or at least it is backed up by price targets. But I think more of the psychological levels of $25 and $20 are where I'm personally planning on rebuying back my Solana bags if we do, capitulate down to these levels. And I think we are. I hate to say it, but I've been calling this for the past couple of weeks now. It does seem to be the case that this is going to happen. So $26.52 and $19.27 are actually the price targets backed up by the technical analysis. You can see this big green box, you've got support wicks down here at 1927, like I said. You've also got support at 2019. You've also got support at basically $22. And then you've got a plethora of wicks and candle body closes, breakdowns into this this trend line, and then obviously coming right back up to $26.52. So this is going to be a huge range of support, and oh my gosh, if we do break below $19.33, we're going to get absolutely hammered. we're going to get absolutely slaughtered. There is not really any support until down at 1250, and I'm not saying we're going to come down there. I don't think we're going to come down there, but at least at this moment in time, there's a decent amount of volume, there's a decent amount of confluence, you know, breaking down from the EMA ribbons, not necessarily on the daily because we're miles away from the EMA ribbons, but 4 hourly. You know, it's very textbook. We're basically looking at a shotgun down the barrel of the what's it called, the scope. I'm not American, so we don't have guns over here, but we're basically staring down the barrel of a shotgun, and you know, it's telling us that we're bearish. And if we're DCAing at this moment in time, you know, we're basically putting our eyeball against the shotgun barrel and taking a peek down there. I do not think it's going to be a good idea to try and assume that the Solana bottom is anywhere near at this moment in time. Looking at Bitcoin, like I said, Bitcoin just had a failed move. It is currently retesting this. If we get rejected once again from 29,400 and we move below 29,000, we're going to get absolutely slaughtered. The macro chart for Bitcoin says that the last levels of support are coming in at basically 28,900, 29,000. But if we do move below 29, in my opinion, we're going to come down to my price target of 22. That is where I think the Bitcoin bottom is. I still think we're 25% away. Let's wrap up the video with Sol BTC, because if I think Bitcoin is going to come down another 25%, then we should look at how Solana's been performing against Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin's gonna move down 25% and Solana BTC is bearish, then Solana's probably gonna move down more than 25%. So like I said, I'm predicting a 47% drop, at least into this range, until the top of the range. So let's call it 47%. Sol BTC, let's see where the next area of confluence is. You can see 1.618, I definitely think we'd be coming down to here. This would be about a 37% move, or at least it would be, since my last video we've moved down a bit. Basically still 37%. I do think we are unfortunately going to move down here, but a tiny bit of hopium for the bulls. This 786 Fibonacci is really your last line in the sand, and I can't do any more than this double 786. You can see, you know, from your candle wick all the way up here, your 786 is the top of this orange box. From candle body close, it is the bottom of this orange box. So this orange box right here, not a double fib because it's the same fib, but it is a double 786 Fibonacci. This level absolutely needs to hold. If we break below here, not only would we be capitulating below the 786, which is your last Fibonacci, you would also be basically coming down to capitulate below this wick, and then you'd be in local price discovery to the downside. Obviously not macro price discovery, we've been down here before. But I do think it would not make any sense to me whatsoever for an altcoin to hold its 786 Fibonacci if Bitcoin is entering a bear market. That is just something that we do not see ever. So it doesn't make sense to me why Solana would hold the 786. I mean, think about it. Why would Solana remain bullish against Bitcoin in a bear market? If you're kind of thinking the opposite of me and you're thinking, well, why wouldn't altcoins be bullish against Bitcoin in the bear market? I was here in 2018 and I'm telling you, every altcoin, whether it was a shit coin, whether it was a meme coin, whether it was a privacy coin, whether it was a blue chip crypto, they all got absolutely slaughtered against Bitcoin as soon as the Bitcoin dominance broke out of this pattern. What this is basically, you know, the move down on the Bitcoin dominance. This is when Bitcoin took up less of the market cap in terms of percentages, not in terms of monetary percentages or monetary points. Obviously the market cap of Bitcoin went up, but the market cap of the altcoin market went up a lot higher. Coming down on the Bitcoin dominance was the bull market rather, and as Bitcoin settled down at these lows at 36%, it skyrocketed up and then decided to come all the way up to almost 74% of the market capitalization of the total market cap. Now, at this moment in time, we're doing something very similar to what we did before. If we break out of this on a weekly time frame, it's going to be absolutely brutal, and Sol BTC, just like all the other altcoins, are probably going to get hit very hard. Once again, tiny bit of a Moonboy Hopium. We are kind of playing out something like a W pattern. I don't think we're going to break out. I don't even think we're going to come all the way up to the top here. If we do, You could potentially see resistance coming in. Obviously, it's hard to give price targets. I could give them, but you know, who's going to know what the price of Solana is if I tell you this would be the 0.00189995% valuation against the Bitcoin pair? I mean, it doesn't really matter what the price target is on the Sol BTC pair. We care a lot more, at least I do, about Sol's USD pair. But looking at its BTC pair and recognizing that you'd be better off holding Bitcoin entering this bear market makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, look at this chart. Is Solana bullish against Bitcoin? It's clearly not, since its all-time high, and you could argue we could be coming back for a retest of the 786. I would like to see a big breakout before I do think that would be the case. I do not think it's going to be the case. I'd be happy to admit if I was wrong. In fact, I'd be a lot happier to admit I was right, because I not for the purpose of gloating or anything, but I want to buy cheap altcoins. You know, I'm not an altcoin hater, I'm not a Solana hater. I love Solana, I think it's going to do well in the long term. However, I do like trading. When I recognize that Solana is bearish against Bitcoin, I have to stay with Bitcoin, and when it breaks out, I will use that Bitcoin much cheaper Solana prices to buy back my bags. That is my plan. Let me know what you think of it down below. I'm interested to know, what do you lot think? Do you think Solana is going to capitulate further against Bitcoin and the US dollar, or do you think Bitcoin has basically found its bottom and we are going to be moving to the upside? I don't really see any other scenarios. I don't see sideways trading. I either think we're going to find the bear market bottom in the next month, or I think we're going to go down to the bear market bottom and make it in the next month. So that's basically all I've got. Best of luck if you're trading Solana. Best of luck if you're trading any altcoins, Bitcoin, whatever you're doing. Wish you the best of luck. But like I said, this 786, this is your last chance. If Solana moves down more than another 17% against Bitcoin, it's probably going to move down another 37%. And like I said, a 37% drop against its BTC pair would quite nicely line up with a 25% drop on Bitcoin and subsequently a 47% drop on Solana. There's a lot of confluence around these regions. That's personally what I think is going to be happening. Best of luck, not financial advice, and as always, peace.